go over the base of your basket, and you see where you have to cut the corners to make it round. You see right here?
Okay, yeah.
There's 2 for sure, possibly 3. We're going to take it on one side here, and you're going to weave your basic twine right to there, and then you're going to cut this one, weave those 2 together, and those 2 together to make it into those spaces. So I'll demonstrate and pull it out. And then
that one is a little,
I go
that one looks like a thick.
under this one and this
I
one.
was going to use it.
Okay. So now cutting that corner. And then this one, you see where it's perpendicular to each other?
Okay.
That's how you know that it's the next 2 that you take to cut a corner.
So when
So
you
it's
get
going to
to
look
the-
like an stop sign.
Okay, so when you do the 4 corners, you take the 2 warps.
Yes. So
At
that's
the
cutting a
time.
corner. You see this one here and this one here. You see
Okay.
that?
And then you do
And then you go right
single
to here,
to
and then
there.
you're going to do this one,
Okay,
this one, and this one.
okay.
And that's if it hits the corner right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's single, 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 and then
Did
you
you go
cross
to a
over
lot
2.
larger form?
And you cross over 2.
These 2. And you're going to leave under both of those.
So, did you enjoy DC then?
Yeah, I've been there before, so I was surprised that it's on Thanksgiving.
And now we can take off the tape because you're going to want to be able to turn it. And just so that we can see the back and make sure that we didn't drop any of the warps, which is perfect.
I
You
did
didn't.
that for sure.
So these 2 are together and those 2 are together. That's your first corner.
I'm
So
glad
when
that Jerry stripped those
we go all the way
together.
around, it's not going to look like a perfect circle right away. It's going to be an octagon shape, but when you add that next row, that's how you're going to get that circle shape. So you're going to do these ones just normal.
Great-aunts and grandmother.
Yeah, this one is
Yeah. So my mom's cousin, things that are
So she is taking out that basic stitch that was holding her plaited bottom together.
trying to work it out.
She's so she can finish this first row of basic twine.
The senior has a work piece of work, and then they're afraid of me to book a ticket, and one of my other cousins is getting married.
So just measure it again.
Well, I mean, I'll take short trips. But, I mean,
This one you'll do 3, and that one you'll do 2.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
Is everybody excited to see you today?
Yeah. Can talk to
Okay. So this is your start. You can either cut a little piece to make it angled, or you can tie it in a knot and then take it out later because that's going to be your marker.
We're looking at our plating.
Yes.
And what our goal is so that they're not rectangular, but square. And in order to do that, you need to manipulate the material just a wee bit, and pull it in so that we can get them more square. Getting rid of the gaps.
Yeah, I see what
Okay,
you're doing
you see?
with the, oh,
See?
nice. Oh my gosh,
So-
look at that.
So there we go. There,
Yeah.
It's peeking at you. And it hit the corners, so now you're at basically dampen that material.
Since there's only one row here, I need to do another basic twine, and then I'm going to do my 3-strand twine.
Okay.
So on the second row of basic twine, we've come to the corners. As you can see, these two pieces have been woven together, and these two pieces have been woven together. And now I'm going to split them. They're going to get their own weft. So I'm going to weave around the first one. And the second. And this is going to help give us that nice round edge that we're looking for. Again, I'm going over the first one and the second. And as you can see, it sort of forces those pieces to fill the gaps in the corners. And we're just going to manipulate the materials a little bit to help them stay there. And then we'll awl it once this row is done, again to keep it nice and tight.
You'll have to awl this one though, right here. Push it up.
So I'm just using my hands, I'm pulling on the warps and I'm pushing at the wefts just to get this a little bit more round, a little bit closer. As you can see, there are some gaps here. So I'm really trying to just fix those gaps because as Delores was saying, it's kind of the only chance I've got before it dries and sets, and that's how it's going to be. I did 2 full rows of the twining, and as I compare it to the bottom of my base, I don't want too much to peek out at me, too much of that row that I just wove. And it looks like I can take away about half of that row so that it's not showing, it's not peeking out at me. So when I do start coming up the sides of the basket, it's not gonna have that little lump that comes up over where the 3-strand twine should be.
You'll have a crisp corner where the 3-way braided will have half be on the bottom and the other one you're able to pinch it and it'll allow the warps to go up to your side of your basket. And you can see where the three-way braided is here, and then yet you see the other portion on this section, and this is where we're biting on it or pinching on it, so that half of it goes here and half of it goes down that direction.
And it gives it that nice sharp edge.
And it gives a nice sharp edge.
Here's one that doesn't have any turning edge. And you know, it's just as beautiful as those with the turning edges, see?
Okay. So I'm gonna start my 3-way twine. I'm gonna use different colors. just to show the process. So I'm going to drop one of my natural strands to the back just so that we can add the two different colors to show the process of the three-way twine. Normally you wouldn't do that. You would just add in your third piece. So we always want to add to the right side on the right weft. So I'm going to hide the tail of this new weft behind the natural color. And just like before, we're going to make our X. Left goes down. The black is the right will come to the back. The natural is our working weaver. It's going to come around the warp, and that's going to secure it in place. And we're just going to do the same thing with the green. It's going to go to the right, and we'll now have 3. This black can actually drop to the back because it's locked in place. The tail of the green will go underneath the natural. So now we're ready to start the 3-strand. We're going to take our right strand to bring it all the way across. The left is our working weaver, and because this corner because we only did half of a row of twining, these two are still together, so we got to make sure that we go around both of them, these warps. Now we're going to make sure all 3 strands come down, left or right over left, center stays straight down, left is our working weaver. Again, it's going to go around the 2 that are together for this corner. And we can drop that green piece for the tail because it's now nice and secure in the weaving. Tucking the right out of the way. Center is straight down, left up behind the warp, and secure in place. Right, tuck away, center down, left around the warp. Tug it snug. Okay, these two are woven together just like the previous corner. Same thing, we're going to make sure that we go around both of them. Some sec. And these ones, when we come up the sides, they're just going to overlap. And we'll tuck one away later on. So I've come to the corner that split the 2 that were together. See how in that first row they were woven together, but in the second row they're actually apart. So we're just going to continue on our 3-way twine, keeping them split.
And why is that?
And that's going to help us fill this corner so that as we come up the side of the basket, you can see it'll be nice and full. We didn't have to do that over here on this corner because it's already in the shape of the bottom that we need. So these, they're gonna stay and overlap as we come up the side. I was going slow earlier so that you can see the process of the three-way twine, but I want to get into a nice rhythm with this. And I don't really let go of my the right strand as I'm tugging down to secure these in place. It just helps with my flow. Everybody's going to hold theirs just a little bit different, but I find that this helps me keep even tension. And again, I'm just wetting my materials so that it's easier to work with. We don't want it to get too dry because then it can break. So I've come to the end of my three-strand twine. I'm going to use the bone all the way around, and I'm just going to help manipulate the materials again to try and get it as circular as I can. And this green that's on the right, I can just drop it away. And as you can see, if I move the other two out of the way, my pattern is complete. And now to begin going up the side of the basket, I'm going to have to needle in this black strand back and out of the way. And again, I'm only doing this because the colors for learning purposes. Normally you would just drop that third strand. And I'm going to bring back the natural color.
So to start the three-strand braid, you're at your beginning. You're gonna lay this piece in. And I like to leave a little room, not a lot, but you know, about this much, just so that you'll clip it later, but as you're pulling, you're not gonna pull it out. So you lay that right in the center, and you get the three wefts together, laying flat. And you're going to take this one closest to you, and you're going to lay it over the weft that you just laid in. Then you're going to take this top and bring it down over those two. Then you take the top and you twist it around the next warp. You twist this one down so that they're all in position again. And then you're going to put this one over. Bring this one down. Bring this one around. Turn this one down. So they're all in position again. And you continue all the way around. I like to start with an even tension. So I kind of tug this back one, tug the middle, tug the side. And then I kind of tug and pull And then I guess I do a tug before, tug after. Then I'm bringing this one down. So I'm tugging here, I'm tugging behind, and then I'm tugging once it's down. Then I pull again. I think I always tug first before my action. There. Tug again after. So I'm tugging and tug again. Pull, over, pull, over, and then I'm pulling again. Just keeping tension the entire time.
And so you continue these steps until you reach your beginning.
Yes. And then you drop one. And this is where if you like the one you added better, you keep it. If you don't, then you just drop it. And you do have to be careful because I do have a tendency to pull pretty tight. You can pull too tight and then you get that rounded bottom instead of a flat bottom. So you have to be watching for that too.
So you want to make sure that while you're pulling it, you're not pulling it so tight that it starts to curve.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm coming up on my beginning. So then I'm going to drop one of these. And this is the one that I used, that I started, or that I laid in there. I'm just going to drop that. And then I can go ahead and split each one of these warps before I turn up the edge.
So I'm biting down on the warps and I'm creating that crease for the edge of the basket. This is going to help the warps stand straight up as we begin weaving up the basket counterclockwise. As you can see, we've now got a nice round bottom from that square plating and that 3-strand braid. We're going to split all of our warps down the center. We're going to cut them with scissors. And we're going to use a nice big weight very carefully, finding the center with my scissors, and I'm going to cut all the way down.
Why are you using scissors over a needle? Because you're not sure who prepped the material, and in not knowing that, you don't know that the grain is as straight as you'd like it.
I'm now going to count all of my warps, make sure I have a good number for when I start my pattern.
So I'm finding the middle, and then I'm just following the grain all the way up. And you can see the dent, you can see where the line is going. So if it starts to go to one side or the other, there's just a tiny indentation. And see, this one's getting a little fat. So I'm just gonna move over a little bit. And I'm gonna recreate that line. And then, so there's just that little piece, but it got it right back on track. I kind of like to hold it in my hands and keep tension. this is working really well. Keeping it on the table. This row right here was twined before I turned it. And then you have a little bit more in your fingers then to turn and roll as you're going around.
You do the twining, then
So I do the braid.
the braid, then you do one row of twining, then you manipulate the material to go upward.
Yeah. And you get a feel for the material as you're going up the side. You're pulling it nice and tight, and then you're shaping as you're going up with your tension. So I've done the braided edge all the way around, and you can turn it up. This is a transition to do the sides, or you can go around one more time, pulling the tension tighter to help you transition. This is something that Lucy Raymond did, and she is one of our best basket weavers. Her baskets are gorgeous, and she was always able to do a straight edge if you look at her baskets. So it is something that, you know, it's different than turning the edge immediately, but different techniques can work for different things. Different weavers do different things to manipulate the material the way that they want it to go. And I am keeping the tension really tight. And you can kind of let it go. You can let it kind of start turning. So this is where I started. And then you're going to bite it or pinch it, but you have a little bit more material to turn it. I like to pinch because I don't love the taste of bark, but a lot of people do bite it. It does work very nicely. Now, your next row, you're going to pull the tension really tight. And it's going to pull the walls of your basket upright. And you're just going to put all of these warps, these leadies, into position upright around your basket. Keeping that tension nice and tight. And I've got my finger pushed really tightly into this, edge right here. And that's just part of manipulating this material into position, just snug.
So do you then continue with the stitch all the way around?
You just continue, and then this is how your basket is going to keep going, just the twining all the way around.